Coming up on Gunter's Universe, episode 45, my good friend Chris Madsen, aka Deeprifter, is here with me to talk about what he's experienced at the Sundance Film Festival. We're also going to dive deep in all things social VR and how important VR communities are to the movement, as well as get some insights on the Void and much, much more. Stay tuned.
VRChat, the next frontier. These are the experiences from Gunter's universe. His continuing mission, to seek out and connect with VR devs and passionate enthusiasts, to discuss theories, beliefs, and rhetoric of all kind, and to boldly go where no show has ever gone before.
Well, welcome everyone to Gunter's Universe. This is the one and only live talk show broadcasting from the metaverse. Join us every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, here in VRChat to watch the show live. You can also watch the live stream at twitch.tv/Gunter444. Our guest tonight is Chris Madsen, aka Deeprifter. Chris is many things, of which he is the social VR liaison with RoadtoVR, co-founder of the UtahVR meetup, and the VR ambassador with Edge of Discovery, as well as a good friend, Deeprifter. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, Gunter, and an honor always to be on your show. You've done amazing things for the social VR community, and 45 episodes, dude,
45.
That is crazy.
It's almost a year. Almost a year.
That's a lot of people, man. Great stuff. And is that
Every
just
week.
for Gunter's Universe, or does that also include episodes from your prior life in Virtually Incorrect?
It was my first VR life in Riffmax Theater as an Asian guy, an Asian avatar, which everybody thought I was when I went to meet them in real life at Oculus Connect. No, it doesn't include that. That was Virtually Incorrect, ran for 16 episodes. And no, Gunter's Universe 45, so I'm certainly dominating the VR talk show space. Because there isn't one.
True story. Awesome stuff, though, man. Congratulations, and congrats on the article that Matt Turndrup wrote on you for Motherboard, man. That was awesome. Well deserved.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I love that. And Matt. Okay, so there's a lot of cool stuff we can talk about, but I always talk about the background stuff, get that out of the way first. So not everybody knows you like I do, or probably a lot of people here know you, but everybody watching the stream and the recording, tell them, about Deeprifter.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I've been following, I've been interested in VR my entire life. I mean, I remember very specifically in 6th grade out on the field, I just read a bunch of science fiction stuff, and what I had read was talking about virtual reality. I remember at that point in time actually having the thought, I really want to be alive when this stuff actually comes to fruition.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So, many things led me to consumer-grade VR, or just pre-consumer, right before the consumer market, 3 years ago. You got your Rift about 2 months before I did, the DK1. I remember watching Cymatic Bruce and his streams showing off the DK1 virtual reality, and it was the worst wait ever for the next couple of months until I received mine. And then once I put that headset on and really had my first VR experience, it was like, that's it. There's no going back. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. You almost feel, I don't know about you, Gunter, but it's almost like you feel it's a calling. It's like you were made for that moment. It's like, yeah, this is it. This is what I'm doing from here on out.
Yeah, it was, it's definitely that. I have similar, thoughts on VR early in my life, wanting to see it happen too. Is it going to happen? For surely it's going to happen was, the thinking, and then always thinking it's going to change the world. It's going to be, for me, my imagination was the biggest shift that we're going to see in technology. When you can go into other places, other worlds, and I mean, that's just incredible. And so now we're experiencing it since DK1 days, and those were all lots of fun. Here's the DK2 days, and upon us are the CV1 days.
And now here we are in social VR. I mean, that was like the next step, right?
Yeah.
We still had our DK1s when RiftMax was alive and thriving, and we were doing some crazy stuff in there. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. It's at that
What
point.
were we doing?
Dude, so we were doing karaoke, right, at the very beginning. Isn't that funny? This is what people do when they discover these new worlds, right? When they discover you can exist in a virtual world. What do we do as humans? We do what we've always done. We gather around campfires and talk. We sing. We dance. It almost takes you back to that tribal state sometimes. It's like, wow, here we are. Yeah.
The VR tribes.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I mean, I think that's what a lot of this technology is. It's kind of, I don't know, just the archaic revival, the old tribes and that kind of stuff. We're now seeing it, I think, through our technology. We're able to, I don't know, tap into these smaller tribe-like communities, you know, and it's really, you can find anybody out there that's interested in the same shit you are. But it was really surprising to find people that were like-minded. It's not surprising I found them in VR, but I didn't think that was what was happening when I first got my DK1 and was going to play around with it and found all these people. You know, I mean, Deeprifter became friends, and we were always there in RiftMax, and along with many other people. And eventually, I got to meet Deeprifter at Oculus Connect, and I forget what year that was. I guess a year later, 2014.
Yeah, that's a crazy story too. You know, I just ended up at Oculus Connect 1. You know, I didn't have a ticket. It's like a series of events just coincided that suddenly I found myself out in Hollywood, California, man, and it all worked out. Worked out.
Well, I mean, I guess my story is a little similar too. I went out there to just do it. I didn't have a ticket to Oculus Connect 1, and I was going to spend 10 days out there. It's like, it didn't matter. I'd either just get in somehow or whatever. I'm going to be around all these people that I know because I, you know, knew so many people after 1 year of DK1. There's just, you got to meet everybody almost. There wasn't that many people. And then Carl Krantz up there in San Francisco, he's putting on the SVVR meetup. I go do that. I'm like, if anything, I'm going to go to this awesome large meetup and connect and do what I want there. And Carl's like, yeah, come stay at my place. And it's all sort of downhill from there. He just, since SVVR gave Oculus a table for free at SVVR, the first expo, he had access to getting tickets and said, hey, my buddy Gunter here could use a ticket getting in, and that was it. So it was like, if you just kind of, it's this like jump, like faith, just take the jump, take the leap.
Yes.
Especially with this stuff in VR, it's so new. If you're just thinking of doing it, do it.
If you just put your mind to it, dude, you're going to be successful. The field is so wide open. It's like there's a space for everybody in VR, man. We're just getting started, man.
It's almost like
it jump in started. And let's go for the ride.
Saying. So let's see. Sundance. I don't really know much about what was shown at Sundance. I'm sort of out of the loop. Sometimes I'm out of the loop because I spend a lot of time in here and other places and just don't catch up on things. Tell me, what was up with Sundance this year? How big was the VR presence, and what were some of the cool things that you checked out?
Well, the VR presence at Sundance continues to grow. Going back 2 years ago, you had your first smatterings of VR with a DK1, and the lucky ones, you know, had the DK2. We saw some of Beck's work, you know, the musician Beck. Great stuff even back then. Cool. And so New Frontiers is the VR portion of the Sundance Film Festival, and it showcases virtual reality, augmented realities, you know, all kinds of different ways to use technology to tell stories in new and exciting ways, right? Ways to transport your imagination and your mind. And then last year, really killed it with the VR there. I mean, it had a huge presence. Multiple levels of the building space were nothing but VR. Chris Milk made his big presentations there, you know, with Verse. We had the Oculus Story Studio represented last year. So VR was really, it was a pretty smash hit, you know, last year. But this year, off the chart, over 30 VR installations. They had off-site projects going on. Samsung had an enormous presence there. I mean, yeah, they had this huge building just dedicated to Samsung stuff, all kinds of Gear VR demos going on over there. There was VR everywhere at Sundance. So, yeah, it definitely on fire.
Wow. I mean, that just goes with the pattern of how things have been changing so fast in VR. I mean, when you're here in the early days, and you're goofing off in some of these programs, and then you see things getting legit, big companies, Sundance, TED, a lot of the stuff's going to be about our topics tonight. We're really priming the engine here for when it's CV1 and its consumer launch. But going back to Sundance, are there any specific experiences that you could highlight for us, things that we wish we could have been there to try?
Oh my goodness, there was so much going on. I mean, one thing to note is Vive. The Vive presence there was enormous. Put Oculus to shame, honestly. There was 6 Oculus experiences and over a dozen Vive experiences right there at the New Frontiers building. So that was interesting. People want room space. Artists want to work within room space. Amazing stuff. Some of the ones that stuck out to me. Okay. There was an installation there called Giant. And what that was, it's like a bomb shelter, a physical space bomb shelter that they constructed. You go into this bomb shelter and you take a seat. There's 3 pedestals, like bar stools there. You sit on a bar stool, you bring the headset down, a CV1, and all of a sudden you are suddenly find yourself in a virtual bomb shelter. And you're with an American family. This is based, the creator, it grew up in Serbia, and this is, basically based on her childhood where apparently there were bombings taking place and whatnot. And her name is Malika Zek, and just an incredibly awesome woman. So you're in this bomb shelter with this family, a mother, a father, a small a daughter about the age of 6, and here's these bombs being dropped, and you can see the fear and concern in the parents' face. Now, I should back up just a sec and let you know the technology that they're using for this experience.
Yeah.
So the characters themselves are 3D mapped characters, and then they overlay the video on that 3D mapped characters. So it actually looked better than what I saw with 8i, who were also doing, digital characters in a VR space, capturing 3D depth data. But this was really top notch. I mean, it felt like I was in a theater performance almost, Here's these live people in front of me in this bomb shelter. It felt like I was part of a theater scene. And the mom, for example, would step forward out of the sight of her daughter, and you could see the tears, and you could see that she was fighting back, trying to cry, because they didn't want the daughter to know how scared they were as these bombs were dropping. So what they did was create a story for the daughter. This was the big clumsy giant that was tripping about the city, and every once in a while he would trip and cause the ground to shudder. And as they're telling the story, the lights dim, the spotlight comes on, and they start doing it with hand shadows. So it becomes a hand shadow puppet show of the story of this clumsy giant. Well, as time goes on, the bombs get closer, the fear increases with the parents. They're desperate to try to shelter their daughter from the reality of this horrible stuff that humans can do to each other. And in the end, shockingly enough, the bomb does hit, and that's it. And you kind of stumble your way out of this bomb shelter going, wow, I had, tears in my eyes. It was an amazingly moving experience. So, yeah, so that was that. The attention to detail was fantastic, to the point that it was so funny. I had a buddy of mine, Will Bound, who's a hacker here in Salt Lake, awesome guy. When he went to the experience, he looked over his right shoulder and he saw this Apple computer that was way out of scale. It was just too big in VR. The scale was out of whack, and he couldn't let it go. The entire experience, he's thinking, the damn thing is just too big! Ruined his experience. So we were at the upload party. We're up at the bar, and it just so happened that the developers were right next to us, and he got a chance to express himself. He says, your experience, I just couldn't get into it. There was this huge, it was out of scale, what are you guys doing? And the developer, without even blinking, looks over and says, congratulations, you just found the Easter egg in our experience. We were waiting for somebody to pull that, to point that out. You win the prize!
Did they buy him a beer for that?
Got him something. I never did follow up to see what the prize was, but it was legit. It really was an Easter egg. Hilarious.
That's awesome. Sort of reminds me of Oculus Connect 1 with the Control VR at the TechCrunch party. I wasn't really digging that, and I was sort of, you know, not bad-mouthing it, but just being negative towards it. It sort of reminded me of it there. I couldn't enjoy my experience because of it. And you were right in front of me. I remember you digging it and having a good time, but my left hand was pretty janked up. But
you were doing the motion tracking, dude. It just was not working for you.
Mm-mm. I came all the way to LA for this.
You were trying to flip the whole experience off, I remember, and your finger just wasn't working.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, what else? What else is at Sundance?
Okay, so what else? Okay, dude, Penrose Studios, right? They're the ones that do the Prince and the Rose and I, right, with the little prince. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Really well made. You know, you're in this little solar system. You're in space. There's the little planets. The prince pops out of the planet, takes care of this rose, etc. So that's an older demo. But I was very charmed by that demo. I thought it was extremely well made. So when I got the opportunity to go up to their house that they were renting in Park City and get a first-hand experience of their new developments, I was super excited about that. So that was Alamet, which means little matchstick girl, which is based on the Hans Christian Andersen fables. And so, first of all, I got the choice to go and do either the Vive experience of it or the Oculus Touch experience. I chose the Vive, man, because I got to go for the room space, right? I'm just saying. So I'm in that experience, and it's this little village comes into view, and it's like in the clouds, and you've got these volumetric clouds like supporting this little village. The weather is bad, you know, the clouds are blocking out the sun, the rain is coming down, and it's Gunter, do you remember that little paper village that we experienced back at Oculus Connect 1, and we were so excited about that, how you could lean down into these buildings like they were little doll houses and look inside and see the silhouettes of people and whatnot.
Where is that? I want that again.
Dude, I know. So it's right here. It's with Penrose Studios, right? So they like create this diorama. It's that whole diorama experience, which just fascinates the heck out of me, because you can just move around like you're a giant in this doll city. And so it's stormy. It's night. The snow is coming down, and gusts of snow are swirling around. And you see this movement under the bridge, and you're like, what is that? What is that? You kind of back up a little bit, and here comes this little girl that comes out. You know, she's only like an inch high, maybe 2 inches high, right? She comes struggling out from under the bridge, and the wind is battering her, pushing her backwards, and she's lugging like this case with her. And as she's making her way, fighting, leaning into the wind, dude, your intention, you just feel this urge. I wanted to just put my hand up in front of her and block the wind from like pushing her away. Just incredible sense of presence to do that. And you're just watching kind of hopelessly as she's making her way, hoping for the best, right? And she gets up, almost up to the top, and the case falls open, and there's like these little magic wand or energy sticks that, with little gems attached to the front. And I mean, you can bury your face right down into this whole scene, right? And she's picking this wand up and spinning it around and pointing it up in your direction. And you can get so close, you can peer right into the little teeny tiny crystal and see the energy formations floating around in the crystal and stuff. Just the attention to detail was so fabulous. So you track this girl's adventure, and then there's a flashback scene where she's with her mom, and this huge flying ship comes through the clouds, and your head is right up there where that ship is, and you're tracking it across that room space as this ship glides through the clouds and then eventually lands. You can put your face right up into the mechanical room and look in the rooms inside the ship where they're working, creating this energy. Anyway, just the attention to detail, that sense of presence, that sense of, I want to take care of the girl. I want to somehow help shape the direction of this story, right? Very cool experience.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great. And when you're peering down at this from like a God's eye view, or you want to come in and help it. I felt that way with Henry. I wanted to cheer Henry up, that Oculus Story Studio experience that we got to try at OC2, and I believe now anybody can try, but I think I had trouble getting it work on my home machine here. But yeah, you really get connected and you really want to help these characters. That's really compelling. Like the fact when you said that you went down to put your hand to block the wind, like, oh, man, that's just that super powerful VR thing there. And I don't know, man. I'm curious, to just see maybe some data collects around this, like how many people try to help the character, how many people don't. I don't know. It's just really fascinating.
And I think we ought to just wrap our heads around the idea that we're going to be openly talking out loud to these characters in VR. We really are. People, if someone walks in, they're going to think we're crazy, but we're going to be shouting things out. Don't go that way. No, please don't go that way. And then when they start reacting back to us, that's when it's going to get really cool, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's AI in games and stuff, but there's better stuff in the works, and it's gonna come. I mean, AI and VR are gonna make too much sense.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. We'll all have our AI assistants, taking care of our mundane tasks for us in the metaverse, for sure.
Yep. Our pets or something. All right. So that's a couple things. Is there more at Sundance that was interesting?
Okay, I got to talk about this, right? So, Matt Turndrup, who works for 2-Bit Circus, he was staying with us at the VR house. So that's another whole cool story in and of itself, is the fact that I was there at the VR house sharing 6 days with some awesome people, Kent Bai and Fran from The Guardian, just so many cool people. It was great to do that. But Matt, who works for 2-Bit Circus, they were getting ready to pull off the largest synced virtual reality experience where everybody is synced to the experience, doing the same thing at the same time as a group. And they were shooting for 175 people. Wow. I remember Matt had to bail in the middle of the night, and he spent hours and hours. I mean, the prep work to pull that off is unbelievable. Everything's got to run, right? Everything's got to run flawlessly, dude. So a lot of work went into that. Unfortunately, there were some things that didn't go right, so they weren't able to meet the full 175. But I've got pictures. You guys a lot of you have probably seen them of. Dude, half the theater is jacked into, VR at the same time. We're watching that new jaunt film of the Australian, the Aboriginals who were around during the atomic weapons testing, when Britain was doing atomic bombs in the wilderness, where the Aboriginal folks were. And some of these guys are still alive that can remember that. And so they did a whole reenactment of the atomic bomb going off, and these kangaroos, hundreds of kangaroos are rushing ahead of that shockwave, and they're falling dead at your feet, running full speed and then falling dead at your feet. It's just crazy, and you're looking up at this huge explosion. It's just overwhelming, and then that shockwave hits you. So I think that's the first, reenactment of a nuclear explosion in VR, to that degree of realism. Pretty far out stuff.
A bunch of people witnessing it at the same time.
Everyone's experience, so you're hearing the gasping and the, from all the audience members around you, right? And what happens is, the Aboriginals are thinking, this is a god. This is a god that just came into being and is giving us a message or something and has killed all these kangaroos. And this must be a gift from the gods. So they went and ate the kangaroos that were given as a gift. And, of course, the radiation sickness and all of this stuff. So just a bad deal. But anyway, to experience that with an entire theater of people was pretty freaking awesome. And it just shows you, where this could possibly go as far as group VR experiences in a real-life space.
Were there some people, some Aboriginals that were able to fly out and make Sundance and talk, or am I imagining that?
Dude, they did. They came right up on stage. These guys didn't even have birth certificates or anything, right? So there was a lot of strings pulled to get them to the States, right?
Wow. That's pretty incredible. Sundance sounds like it was pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah, all the way around. Very amazing. One last experience, if you don't mind, Gunter, I got to mention. It's that 6x9 experience where it's, isolation in prison. Incredible.
What?
Yeah, dude. So, you haven't heard about this one?
Mm-mm.
Hang on one sec.
Sure.
All right. So, Fran Panetta from The Guardian was the one that oversaw this project, the director. And so you are in a CGI replica of a solitary confinement in our prison system, right? I can't remember what prison it was that they did all this, got all the information from. But anyway, you're there in solitary confinement, 6x9. It's fully replicated in gorgeous CGI on the Gear VR, by the way. And they take the actual recordings from that location in the prison, so you hear all the other prisoners in solitary confinement yelling stuff out, tapping on doors. It's an absolutely surreal experience, and as you're going through this experience, you're reliving memories, you're hearing interviews with prison guards and with prisoners who are talking about the experience as you're experiencing it. And then you actually even start losing your mind a little bit. You start to feel what is described by all the people that have gone through this feeling of depersonalization, this floating sensation, this rising off your bed. You start to have visual hallucinations, and they're replicating all of this in this VR experience. Very overwhelming. I left that experience thinking, man, I'm good for 3 days maybe. Maybe. At 3 days, it would just get insane. I don't know if I could stay sane through something like that. I probably couldn't. Mm-hmm. You don't, right? Unbelievable. Wow. So talk about developing empathy for these sorts of things. I mean, flat out, you leave that experience and you're thinking, yeah, that's torture. You really can't do that to a human being. There's got to be a different way to meet whatever need they're saying that's about, right?
Yeah, I mean, we all know things like this, right? We read about them, or we hear stories, and we're appalled, and, at some points in our lives, we wish we could change the world, and we should do something, and then there are times we just don't know what we could do, and things go on. But, or even some really great documentaries that really get in there and make you feel, but, man, if you had full VR experiences of a lot of these things, I think it would really start to impact people even more. Would people do something? I don't know, but I certainly know they would feel more. And that's really interesting and curious how the effect of having a medium that allows for that will be.
Well, the impact it's had on me is I am paying attention to that. And, when we do get opportunities to vote and make a difference when it comes to these things, you better believe I'm going to be behind that because I experienced it, man. Yeah, and it's not okay. Something has to change with that.
Sounds like a lot of the experiences, have been very emotional that they were having at Sundance, which is not surprising at all. But they were really using VR to that capacity. Was there anything that wasn't, tugging on the heart or kind of so much emotional?
Sure. So like the 8i stuff, right? So the 8i stuff is, digital recreations of humans using 3D depth data, very similar to the Kinect, right? But what I loved, it was cool being able to share. It took me back, this is still early days. Do you remember the Tex Murphy games? I don't know if you remember those or not, old adventure games. It was one of the first times that they were bringing real life actors into the CGI space, right?
Okay, yeah.
So it kind of felt a bit like that, but the potential of that is really awesome. I mean, there was one scene where they had me up on a cliff, the little alcove on a cliff. I was feeling some pretty good presence there in the vibe, right? And I looked over, and there's a virtual actor clinging to the cliff and just hanging out on the ledge with me. Just a really cool experience. another one where the mother has a child. I actually got down on the floor with this child that was crawling around. You know, I was right there in his space on the floor with my head right down there with this child. And then the mom talks to you as though you're him as an adult, telling you how I love you so much. You are the most precious thing to me. You know, all of these things, so that as an adult, this person can go into this VR experience and have his mom talking to him like that. You know, that brings up Minority Report scenes and stuff, right? It's just awesome.
Makes me think like these AI helpers that we'll have. Maybe some people will choose to be a mother figure, and so they can tell them how much they are loved. It sounds pretty nice. What about the Industrial Light and Magic stuff? Was that kicking?
Oh, Gunter, absolutely. So yeah, that was cool. So Industrial Light and Magic X Labs brought their version of the cave system, where you don these 3D glasses with positional tracking, and you know, they're just like sunglasses. You just throw them on your eyes. You step onto this stage with other people, if you'd like, and basically they're highly detailed holograms that come out, and you interact with them in a complete 3D space. You know, it's like they were talking about how they want to use this for future virtual theater experiences. You can have live actors beaming themselves into that space. You know, all kinds of cool things you can do with that. That was very impressive.
I saw some clips on your YouTube, and I'm going to put those up on the big screen because there's a couple funny ones in there. Your experience with Star Wars and a dinosaur.
The dinosaur was really cool. I'll tell you why, too, after you see it. Yeah, this is the Star Wars one. This is awesome.
So there you are, man. You're checking it out. What's on your head?
So yeah, so those are the glasses with the 3D tracker balls, right? So it knows exactly where you are in that 3D space and can manipulate the graphics accordingly, right? For my mind, I just looked under that shelf. I mean, it's right there. What's crazy is how they sync up the parts where you can see where the floor meets the wall. Isn't it amazing how they sync that up so that it looks as though he is stepping right out of that wall onto you? They said that they had one woman ran right into the wall thinking she could just walk on off into the horizon.
Sure. They don't have the chaperone.
Yeah, that's right.
This is apparently they've modified the recording, the camera, so it doesn't look like they're stretched.
That's right. They modified it, so now we're looking at so things aren't going to look as blurry this time around because they made some modifications. Now, watch him come out of that wall. Watch how they sync the feet, C-3PO's feet up with the legs. It's so freaking cool. Here we go. You'll see it here in just a sec. Look at this. Watch. Boom. And he's going to come out further.
That's basically what you see when in the...
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Bam!
Which we couldn't tell in the last video.
Now that looks a little funky right there, but trust me, from my perspective, I've literally got my arm around him.
And here is the other one, the Raptor.
Now they had live actors controlling
yeah, so they didn't have any. So back at the studio, they have live actors that can play the parts of the dinosaurs and whatnot. So when they get directors and sound folks and everybody on that stage together, the actor can really just basically do whatever the director's telling them so that they can see how it will actually look in the movie scene, right?
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah, so this is actually a recorded dinosaur experience I'm having right here, but it was done by an actor, and they were telling me this guy that does the acting is so incredibly good, he can pretty much always understand how a person is going to respond to whatever he's doing as an actor. Mm-hmm. So when he did this recording here of this dinosaur, so I'm going down, and watch, the sucker's going to bite at my fingers. Here he comes. Yep, he's biting at my fingers because the actor knew that that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to touch the dinosaur, so therefore he nips at the fingers, and then he knows what you're going to do when he nips at the fingers, so then he plays on that, and there's just this long string of events that he can manipulate without even being there. I thought that was really cool. Just understanding human psychology, right? 90% of the people are going to fall under that curve of doing exactly what he was hoping they would do.
That's part of the magic.
Yes. So anyway, that's just more of the same there, yeah.
Very, very cool. I remember getting to hear John Giada?
John Gaden, yeah.
Gada.
There you go, yeah. Matrix, man. He did all the effects for the Matrix. Yeah. Awesome, dude.
It's really great to hear all that and all about this studio and stuff that they're working on. It's really great. What else do we have? I have, did you get to check out Oculus Quill? I see some videos from you on that.
Oh, I sure did. So I got to go up to the room where Oculus Story Studios were, and I got to actually use the quill. It was awesome. So those of you that have done Tilt Brush, kind of have a sense for how awesome that is to draw in a 3D space using different effects and whatnot. So here's what was different about this. It seemed like I had more control over the actual scene. Holding with my left hand, I could tilt the scene. I could enlarge the scene with my fingers and shrink the scene. That was cool. That sense of control was pretty awesome and a bit different from Tilt Brush. But where it really shined was, I could make the tip of that pen so incredibly small. I didn't even take it as small as it could go, but I was down to like pixel level. I mean, I was like drawing stuff in a 1-inch cube. I mean, like little teeny micro movements, millimeter movements with my fingers, drawing my signature and stuff, as small as you could get. That was really cool. But what's great about this whole experience in relationship to why they built this tool, they built this whole tool specifically to make Dear Angelica, which is one of the VR movies that are going to come out with the CV1. And So here's how that works. So you go into the scene, and what they've done is they've taken her as the artist. They said, we're not doing the 2D stuff anymore. We're going to allow you to create the entire scene within VR live. So they're recording her as she's drawing that scene. In this case, the dragon, with the little girls on there, her and her mother on there. And she's drawing the scene around that 3D space, so you as the user are in there watching the scene get created around you real time. It's as though you're jumping into the head of the artist, and she is transporting you live as the world comes to life around you. Unbelievable. That was so freaking cool.
Man, and it's kind of like, I assume there's like a story to, all this has a theme, and it's unfolding a certain way to
She's unlocking her memories of her mother who has passed away, and, rereading the old letters and whatnot. So these are literally her memories being brought back, and the way the technique is used, it really does feel like a memory, like you're in a dream, like it's fleeting, and there's different techniques they use depending on what scene you're going to be looking at.
Wow. I love artists.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's amazing. All right, we'll pause that. What else do we have? We saw a little bit of Star Wars there with Industrial Light and Magic, and that makes me think of something I heard today, which is that good old Harrison Ford, our Han Solo, got to try the Void today.
Oh boy, can you even imagine being the Void, folks, and having Harrison Ford come through your basically an Indiana Jones experience.
Yeah. No, can't imagine it at all. Crazy.
And it's great because there's a serpent in the experience, and as you all know, Indiana Jones, that's his number one fear is snakes. I'd love to hear how Harrison Ford might have played off on that.
Sure. Yeah, Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to hear more, maybe something from him, I would hope. And really what I'm excited about is that James and the crew got to have that experience for themselves, have a lot of cool, interesting people come try their product, and from what I can hear, everybody's just blown away. I mean, congrats on getting the TED.
They're having so much fun out there. I don't know if you've been following their tweets. It's VoidVR is their Twitter handle. They're having a blast, dude. They're nothing but smiles. This is like the fruition of everything that they've been working on all of this time. It's like they've taken everything that they've learned and they've thrown it into this TED experience, you know? I mean, you've got fire, you've got explosions, you've got falling floors, you've got a underground cavern where a serpent rises up to face to face with you, this giant serpent, and as it opens its mouth to scream at you, all of that spit and water comes out of its mouth, the steam out of its mouth, right? Because it's all the 4D effects, man. I can't even imagine. And even at the end, you've got to pick, you have to make a choice at the end. And one of those choices you're not going to live through.
Huh. I love that part, that there's choice. It's not just this sort of linear roller coaster or theme park sort of experience that we normally get, but we should have choices in VR. So incredible.
And it is a story. And what's cool is you're going through with your partner, right, with another person. So, you know, even in that first room, one person goes over to sit on the throne, and the other person takes their torch. When you sit on the throne, it activates this like an energy portal that goes from the fire basin to the door, and then the other person actually goes and lights that basin with the torch, and it causes the door to explode on you. It's just grabs you from the very beginning. And I can't give something away, but it actually requires a trick to even enter the void space. To the observer putting on the equipment, they're in a room, there's no way out, and it requires a trick to even enter the void space. Pretty awesome stuff. Curtis Hickman, man, he's the freaking magician, dude. They got freaking mechanically dropping floors and stuff, dude. You bet there's people screaming in there, man.
Yeah, heaters and water effects and air and yeah, I mean, that's what I was reading, that people were screaming in it, and people out in the hallway, there were, you know, of course there's a line out the door, were hearing that, and I can't imagine how exciting that would be. Like, oh man, it's more exciting than any sort of Disney experience I can think of.
And for probably the majority of them, man, it's their first VR experience. That's going straight for the heroin, Gunter. That's it. Pass the beer, man. Forget that. We're going full on. Can you even imagine that being your first VR experience?
It's almost maybe problematic, because there'd be like other experiences. You're like, well, wait, they need vibes. I don't think they're going to work out so much with the Rift, maybe. They're going to think they should be walking around all the time, but that's great.
You know what, they'll give them a week, though. It's just going to feel like this crazy dream that they had, right? VR will still do it for them.
So there's James Jensen up there. I really thought this picture is so badass.
Look at him. That's sick.
These guys are just rock stars right now.
They're having a great time. Great time. And we still haven't seen everything yet, man. They've got so many other checkpoints on towards their goal of opening this coming fall, end of summer, early fall, you know?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. You know, I'm friends with Paul Jensen, who is James's brother. James is up there on the screen. And Paul and Danny is the other person that owns a VRChat comedy club. So if you go to the list of rooms here, it's called Comedy Club LMVAO, laughing my virtually ass off. And they're the ones bringing comedy here to VR. We did our first comedy club in December, and we're going to have our next one in 2 days, so on Thursday. I can't remember the two comics' names, but it should be a good time. I'll be promoting that tomorrow. So it's really cool to work with Paul, and you know, he's so excited for what's going on with the Void, and there's so much more, and it's just freaking amazing. I can't wait until these are spread out in more cities, which I know is going to happen. You know, they've got some funds there. They've got so much excitement, interest. I know we're going to see these things pop up soon.
You're coming out soon, dude. Salt Lake City.
I was just talking with my best friend about going out to Utah, so yeah, man.
It's a great reason to come.
We want to do some off-roading. So, yeah.
And Void's hiring, guys. Everybody, Void is hiring. They're on a hiring spree, man. If you guys have any interest, Unity, whatever, get in touch with them, man. See if there's a spot for you at the Void.
That's a great idea. I'm trying to pull up a better picture of you. We have to see you in the Void.
That haptic vest is freaking awesome. 22 touch points, 2 transducers. They can set the settings high enough to make it hurt. No joke.
To make it hurt.
Make it hurt.
And you're not like You're not complaining about wearing this thing when you're going through because it's
no,
just so
hurt
cool.
Is okay. Hurt's okay in VR.
Yeah, hurt me more. How much can you hurt me?
It enhances presence. It really makes you a lot more conscious when you know that it's going to hurt.
Yeah. I mean, when there's real walls there, you don't just start jumping everywhere, running through everything like a spaz. Yeah. You know.
All those bad habits you're learning in this VR here, forget it, man. You'll run smack dab into a wall.
Yep. Very, very cool.
You know we're going to see that. I was thinking about that just the other day, man. Eventually there's going to be like this kind of unspoken rule of respect VR. Don't walk through virtual objects, because if you're living here long term and you're spending a lot of time in VR, you're going to start running into walls in the real world, man. Respect your VR environment.
I'm going to be falling down sometimes. I just,
I do force myself to respect the environment. I'm not the guy that's walking through tables and walls in VR, man. I'm like walking around stuff just because I don't even want to start to form those pathways in my head, man.
Here's a picture of what's going on at TED.
Look at that. There's the throne. Yeah, she's got the torch, walking over to get ready to light the door. So cool.
Super, super cool.
They are absolutely tripping out right now, I guarantee you. Absolutely blowing their minds. Just walking through the portal will blow your mind.
Yeah. It's like can't know what VR is till you try it, or you don't understand these amazing touch controls that are coming until you try it, and same thing here at the Void. I can sort of start to imagine it, but there's no way I really quite get it.
Yeah, look at that. They're all decked out in the vest, man. That's so rad.
Love it. If you guys haven't seen my episode 15, I think, James Jensen from the Void comes on and talks about all kinds of great stuff, and check that out. It's really cool.
Great episode.
You were there around the table helping me do the interview as well, so that was really awesome. And Shannon Norrell, that was a great time.
Shannon, yeah. Great guy.
Totally. Okay, so Edge of Discovery.
Edge of Discovery, yeah!
Tell us a little bit about that.
So Edge of Discovery, Carol Dalrymple is the president of Edge of Discovery. She was also up at Sundance. It was so great having her up there. And they are a group of artists, award-winning documentary filmmakers. Carol just got done shooting a whole thing for KUED on the national parks. She does amazing, gorgeous work, and they caught the VR bug. I was doing my evangelizing, and I was throwing this big VR party up in Salt Lake. Had a ton of people there. It was such a great night. And one of the Edge of Discovery board members happened to be at the party and was like, hey, this is incredible. Why don't you come up and show us what this is all about? So I think it was like the following week or two I went up there, and that's how I got involved with them. And they got the VR bug big time, and yeah, they're diving in. So it's going to be cool to see what kind of, documentary type things they can bring into the scene. There's talk of going to the Costa Rica canopies and using drones to lower down through trees and interviewing the scientists. What Edge of Discovery does is they talk about the stories that aren't being told, the voices that aren't being heard, and that's the focus that they want to take. So they tackle all kinds of different issues, and they want to bring that stuff and those experiences into VR. The Antarctic, Costa Rica, Native American stories, all kinds of different things. So it's been awesome to be a part of that, for sure. And that's just part of the whole local scene, right? It's all about community, dude. All about community.
It really is. I mean, networking, it's always been like you hear that with just jobs and everything, but like this is your love, this is your passion here. I'm talking to everybody that's around me here and assuming the people listening. Social VR is a great way to network. It's I'm proof in the pudding. Deeprifter's proof in the pudding. Get in here and talking with people. I am not an extrovert necessarily. Sometimes I am. Plenty of times I'm an introvert. Never leave this damn RV all day long, just playing on my damn computer. But in social VR, you might not want to participate because of shyness, but just do it. It's so much easier in VR, and then you get better, and then you just meet people that are like, oh wow, there are nice, awesome, cool people that are just like me, that are respectful and not just a bunch of YouTube commenters that are assholes. You can find good people, and it's so new that like the Void's hiring, or there's other opportunities jumping up. So being a part of these networks, go to the conferences, go to the go to SVVR in April. Anybody can go. Yeah, it's in Silicon Valley, so if you can't, you got to get there. But just do it. Everybody will take care of you. If you need places to stay, or whatever you need. That's how people are normally, the people that I come across. So definitely do that. Go to your local meetups. Deeprifter, you run the UtahVR meetup. When did you start that, and how have you seen it grow, and what kind of things are people benefiting from that sort of connection?
Yeah, we started it in relation to the maker space, the hacker space. Our first digs were 801 Labs. It's a total hacker space. Awesome venue, awesome people. And so we just started small, right? About, I want to say like 8 months ago. And as we all know, VR is really heating up, guys. It really is happening. VR really is happening, and it's getting to, and everyone I'm talking to in the VR space is feeling it as well. It's just the energy around it, everything is moving so quickly, and the world is starting to notice. Sometimes we're in our bubble, and it seems like everything is VR, and it's shocking how much the world doesn't know, but I really see that changing even over the last couple of months. I've gotten more phone calls from enterprise than I have in the last year, that I've gotten in the last 4 weeks than compared to an entire year. People are noticing. They want to know what this VR is. They know it's important. They want to know how they might be a part of VR. How might this impact my industry? They don't know. They're looking for VR consultants. They want to talk about it. They want to know how to bring their ideas into space. So this is why local VR meetups are so important. I mean, we've demoed to dozens of surgeons. We've taken VR to, the cancer floor of the hospital. We've shown it to architects. We're just bombarding Salt Lake with VR as much as we possibly can. And we have an awesome VR community. A few of them are here today. We're all just spreading the love, right? Introducing people to it and then letting them help figure out how they want to use it. I mean, meeting with all those surgeons after we showed them, it was like brainstorming sessions. Oh, we can do this. Oh, we can do this. Let's do this. Yeah. And now they've got these great ideas. Now you need a team to bring it to fruition. And this is why it's so important to know everybody in your community, because you got so much talent right under your nose. And to be able to tap into that talent and give people the work that they're craving to have anyway to help bring these ideas to fruition. People will pay you for this. People want this. So exciting. So here's where we're at. And I just want to blow you guys' minds just for a second. I track, for RoadtoVR, I track meetups. I post meetups on our calendar, virtual events, real-life events, etc. I just want to give you guys a little idea of what's going on around the world. Silicon Valley Virtual Reality Meetup, 3,400 people in that one alone, followed by New York City, to over 2,500 people, San Francisco with Matt Sonic, 1,900 people, Boston with Jeff Bell, 2,125 people, VR LA over 2,000, VR Austin just broke 1,000. You've got Toronto and Orange County and Vancouver hot on their heels, DC right behind them. We've got Stockholm. I only keep track of the ones over 500. Those are the ones that go on the calendar. Over the 500 club, you've got Stockholm, Netherlands, Berlin, Portland, Long Beach, Seattle, Nashville. Holy shit, guys!
Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah! It's happening! It's freaking exploding, dude. So, get involved in your local meetup. Create your own local meetup. Help us make this happen. I mean, you guys are already making it happen just by being present in this space. You guys are pioneers in VR. You guys are so far ahead of the curve. It's absolutely ridiculous. Sometimes we get this sensation of, gotta catch up, I'm not moving fast enough, someone's ahead of me in this. That's all BS. You guys are all so far ahead of the curve, it's ridiculous.
That's very inspiring.
Absolutely it is, and it's so true. Start your meetup. If you don't have a meetup in the area, why not start it? It's free. I mean, I guess meetup.com might charge something, but do you have to I don't know. There's ways to do it. And just advertise on our Reddits, on the Oculus forums, and of course somehow in your local area, basically ask the other meetup folks. They're way more than helpful. If you go back to like an early teens episode of mine, I got, Carl Krantz from SPVR meetup, Cosmo and Johnny from VRLA, and just, it was like 8 of us around the table, Jeff Bale from Boston, talking about starting your own meetups. So dive into that, and just so you can make friends. I mean, damn, that's a good enough reason to start a meetup. And then from there, it's all that you can't plan it, you can't force it. It just, the best thing you do is meet people, and then organically these just connections start happening. It's like, what?
Dude,
this is happening?
and
Cool, amazing.
And it allows a place for you to showcase your local talent. And I'm telling you, once you get your numbers, once you start getting to that 500-member threshold, companies are coming to you, man. You guys become the hub of all the VR activities, and you're going to have awesome presenters coming and showing you their latest stuff, their latest in photogrammetry, their latest in droid technology, digitizing humans. Dude, it's just, it's getting awesome.
So you're talking about social VR, it's heating up.
Dude, social VR too, right? So here we are, Gunter's Universe, VRChat. We've got, all these people around the world, and it's crazy how global this whole Gear VR thing is getting, right? Every time I put on that headset and I'm jumping in alt space or V-time, pretty much, I might be the only U.S. guy there. I'm talking to guys from Israel and Barcelona and South Africa and people that are bedridden, that are on dialysis or can't even move around, and they're just celebrating this newfound secret of, holy shit, I can socialize with people again. I can leave my house and be hanging out on the edge of a cliff with people around the world, man. Social VR. Social VR excites me probably more than anything about VR, because I come from a social anthropological perspective, and I'm sitting here thinking every social anthropologist should have a front row seat to what's going on here, because this is the very beginnings of a new way of how humans communicate and interact and experience things with each other in ways we've never done before. We're teleporting our consciousness to shared virtual spaces. This is a revolution, Gunter. This is no joke. This is going to get crazy over the next decade, man.
Oh, I know it, man. You can't. I love the Andre, can't remember his last name, with the video, the documentary that we saw, the trailer last night. You posted it to Reddit.
Oh, that was so rad!
What's the name of that? Oh, man. I'll pull that up here in just a second. But
Please
the thing that
do.
Before I lose this thought is, at the end of it, there's a Palmer quote about
the black hole.
The black hole, like we're being sucked into this VR black hole, and that once we go over that event horizon, like there's no going back, and that eventually the whole world will get, sucked into that black hole. It's just going to happen.
Whether you like VR or not.
Whether you
I
like
hope
VR
you like
or not.
VR.
And then he goes, yeah, I hope you like VR. I mean, it's so true. I mean, I think it's so true because I believe this, I guess. But it's true to me because I was thinking these things, 10 years ago. I was thinking, I mean, there's even like speculation stuff like about like the year 2012 and the Mayan calendar and the world's coming to an end, and I'm like, well, I don't believe shit like that, but like, what could be such a transformation of technology? Of course, I would think technology could transform the planet. What could come out that really could be, that thing? I'm like, oh, it's going to be VR, man. VR's got to be close. I was always thinking to be a little bit closer and sooner than what it ended up being, even though now it's like, doesn't feel like it was, now it's just already happened, so it doesn't feel like it was very long. But I knew it was going to change the world, of course, and I knew Grandma's going to be there. It's just a matter of time, just like the internet.
Yeah.
Grandma's using internet right now, and Grandma's going to be there, and everybody's going to be there, and it's going to be one big party.
Totally, dude. And speaking of Grandma being there, I mean, it's not. We're very close to me being able to be at my daughter's birthday party, and I can look at her, gaze over to her with my head, hit that camera button, and record live and project that image right here for all of us in the shared virtual space. And maybe Grandma from across the world is sitting right next to me watching that real-life projection of my daughter's birthday where I'm at. I mean, that's like right there close, isn't it?
Absolutely, like that's going to be what gets the masses in there. And that's what I was thinking about, like, well, we're going to share walls, like that wall will be a big projection of your house, and like our rooms will be right next to each other, but things are even more because we're in VR, and so now it's going to be like we can be anywhere. And you knew technology was going to progress to this point because we want this. We want to be in each other's lives all the time, but we can't. Man's got us down, or whatever it is. These limitations. And what do we do as a species? We remove these limitations. The telephone was a great way. People didn't leave home. Now, when the telephone came out, they could go across the country and still say, "Hey, Mom, I'm good." Or stay in touch, and that was a big deal. And now, man. I guess I'm never going to have to even go outside. I'm going to be able to do all the things that I used to do, but right here from the comfort of my chair or something like that.
Yeah, dude. So much yet to come. I mean, even just talking about avatars, right? I mean, when we can truly, effortlessly, where you don't have to be a developer or have any knowledge at all, but be able to just create whatever you want to represent yourself. That's going to be a big movement, too. The whole avatar creation thing, right?
Huge.
I'm getting chills.
So,
yes.
I think you recently visited some place that's doing something like this, but before we get into that, I just want to mention the name of that documentary that's being made. And you should seek it out on Reddit. I don't know what number it is on Reddit right now, or Oculus Reddit. Whenever I say Reddit, I mean /r/Oculus. And it's called Virtual Boys, a film about VR and Palmer Luckey by Andre Perkowski or something like that.
Perkowski.
Yeah, so he's it's really cool. Virtual Boys is the name of it.
Oh, okay.
And did I read right that he I think he accepted that he will do a special presentation of that show in here? Is that right?
I don't think he responded to me. Like you said, hey, social VR folks, like you basically said to Andre, hey, you should screen this in one of the social programs. And then he was like, oh, that'd be great. And he'd make a special cut even for
that's right,
for that situation. And then you were like, there you go, see, social VR guys, get on it. And so I got on it right away when I saw that and just said, hey, VRChat would love to have you, out here and just, we could set up a cool custom room for this whole event, so it'd be really special. Haven't heard back. I'm going to PM him soon. Maybe he didn't subscribe to the comments or something since it wasn't his original post. That's some of my thinking or whatever. But I'm going to keep trying to make that happen. I think that'd be really cool.
Be a great event.
Like
That'll be a fun event. Yeah.
So yeah, Virtual Boys, check that out. The trailer, it's like 3 minutes. It's just so much cool. It's for the community. For me, it's going to mark like that's the good old days. Is everything we see in that documentary. Those are the good old days before CV1 hit. It's really special. I'm going to show my grandkids that I probably won't actually have, but I'll show somebody else's grandkids.
and his whole art style. His whole art style even gives it that whole vintage feel, right?
Oh yeah, it's like 60s commentary, and it's really kind of psychedelic how fast it's moving, psychedelic. And it hits those like psychedelic marks with like Timothy Leary's in there, and it goes into the weird, as well. And again, it ends with that Palmer Luckey quote about the black hole. I did not hear that quote from him, so I was like, oh, I just love that Palmer talks like that. It's just he just gets it like a lot of us get it.
Absolutely.
So just any other social VR apps? I guess the gear with I haven't tried VTime. Gotta check that out.
V-Time's awesome, dude. The environments are really well done. And the fact that it's on the gear, just makes it so convenient. It's like, oh, grab it off the coffee table and instant teleportation. Yeah, it works great.
I guess my problem, like AltSpace doesn't work on the Note 4, and I'm just V-Time the same way. I just feel like
V-Time does work on the Note 4, believe it or not. Yeah.
All right, now I've got something I can do there. Besides like Oculus Social, which I think has been kind of not a lot of people not a lot of foot traffic there.
Well, V-Time did something that I thought was a brilliant move. They totally capitalized on the whole Valentine's theme. You're for whatever reason you're away from your loved ones. We're creating a couple of special rooms where you can reunite with your loved ones in this space. Dude, that's a rad move.
Yeah, absolutely. It was highlighted in RoadtoVR article that Scott.
Yeah, Scott
Hayden,
wrote
right?
that up. Scott killed it on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really great talking about AltSpace and V-Time, and then he brought up VRChat too, just because we are
That's
so
right.
special, and we've been connecting and have these deep relationships, even though we weren't on the gear necessarily, but it was great.
That's okay. That's okay.
To see that, like, people want that information. It's really great that that's out there. We need more social VR. People want to come to these places. I think that these places are going to be hot with CV1 because after you play all the games, and some of them you may get bored with, or you get stuck with, and you're just like, I'm not going to keep going, or whatever it is. Games are things that sometimes you pick up and play for a long time, and other times you don't. I imagine there'll be limited content, but I'm thinking there's actually going to be a shit ton of content, but whatever it is, it'll still be limited. And what you can do is always come back to these social places to do stuff. Like, there's people there. You can talk. You can go to events. You can see what people are building in VRChat. You can see the new events over in AltSpace. You can see cool people that hang out and Converge. And then there's Janice, man. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff over there.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's unlimited when it comes, I think, to these places. So.
And again, even within the social apps too, it really community again is a huge factor in that, right? I mean, look at your community here. This is a whole group of wizards that are just doing some amazing things, creating worlds, being welcoming to people coming in. I mean, the community again is just a huge factor, I think, in the success of a social VR platform.
It's so big. We have a great community. Can't thank everybody that's here. Like, I know I'm part of the community, but I always thank the community because I wouldn't be here without them.
The VR family, the VRChat family is always blowing my mind at least a few times a week, dude. Like, really blowing my mind.
Today, we got Wallace over there. Wallace, are you?
Where's Wallace
still
at?
here? He may have dropped off. I actually think he had to go. He's in a different time zone. I remember him.
Oh, that's
earlier.
too bad.
Anyways, got lip sync. So Oculus releases the lip sync stuff that you can pipe into your VR app, and so it'll now, when you feed it A, E, I, O, U sounds, it'll map it to properly map your, I don't know if it's the jaw bones or the mouth bones. I'm not a developer and I don't rig that stuff up, but it works, man. So our buddy Mechlight here, he modeled up Wallace from Wallace and Gromit, which is a great, it's a great character to model because it's just the mouth movement on Wallace being claymation just suits it perfectly for demonstrating lip sync, and so we got a taste of that tonight, and it's just so cool that boom, there it is. It's not even wasn't even a huge thing. I mean, I shouldn't say that necessarily because Ewan and Cube Paradox are people that have been working on this for last week, but I mean, it's not like they've been working on this for months. It all came out about a week ago. They messed with it. It's working pretty good. It's not easy, but it's happening.
Yep.
So there's two things. I want to stay a little bit on the social VR, but then I want to go into the DAZ 3D, Morph 3D. We're talking a little bit about that. I'm not sure how much you can talk about that, but that ties into the avatar stuff. So we'll go to Sophia's performance.
Oh, nice,
your
dude.
daughter,
Yeah.
who's basically recently did 3 or 4 songs in AltSpace during their big sort of Gear VR day, and when I heard about that, I was like, oh, that's so great that people are going to be hearing her, because I got to hear her a few times on the DK1 days back in RiffMax. It was karaoke nights, but but Sophia didn't need karaoke lyrics or didn't need any of the tracks because she can play the guitar and sing really good. And so it was always a treat when we'd have something like that going on. So Deeprifter's daughter is just musically talented, so incredibly talented. When did she start playing music? Was it something like she got from you or her parents, or did she just get that on her own?
Well, she's certainly eclectic in her music taste, and definitely got that from, my wife and I. We've always listened to, all genres of music. Good music is good music, right? It's like it doesn't matter what genre it is. So I think she got that her taste somewhat from us. She did that David Bowie tribute. We turned her on to David Bowie a long time ago. Ziggy Stardust, man, of course. Sure. We always sang that driving down the road. As a family. So, but Gunter, she just really started getting into music months before her first performance in RiffMax, and RiffMax was actually a huge help for her. She has always been extremely shy, and the RiffMax experience was really her first stage event, right? And it was terrifying for her, but she made it through. And after she'd done a couple of performances in there, it really boosted her self-esteem to start making it in the real world, man. And now she's performing on stages all over, coffee shops, working at a recording studio, putting tracks down. And
nice.
Dude, and that's, social VR, dude. That was so helpful. Yeah.
That was like 2 years ago, right, Deep?
Yeah, you remember Vishnu. Was she not just the shyest creature in the world?
She was awesome. Yeah, shy, but she came out strong.
Yeah, dude, RiffMax was a great platform for her to do that. And again, so many things that we can use social VR for, from therapy to, business trainings. God, the sky's the limit, man. So much.
I know, you can almost list everything. But it's cool for that, just hearing these stories or being involved in these stories or sharing these stories, hearing everybody else's stories. I mean, it's happening everywhere. I'm going to throw up a video of the Altspace performance a little bit so people get a taste of that.
Cool.
Hopefully go look it up.
Nice.
That last song is probably the best just because it's so ironic for being in the virtual
I want y'all
space.
to know that she is probably the first girl that has ever had all kinds of people ask for an encore. Dude, they're shouting for encores from her.
Ted. More Ted. Look at those
More
guys.
Ted.
Look at those guys. They're so high right now, dude. They're going to come home and just completely crash.
Oh, for sure, man.
There we go.
Let me pump it up.
If you can maybe forward it through a couple songs, the last two are probably the best, Gunter. If you can do that.
I went to the middle, but I think that's too much.
There's one more today.
That was you, Vishnu.
Nice. She has a very unique voice.
So this is Major Tom. This, or you want me to go?
Oh yeah, go to the next one or the last one, yeah. Yeah, this is good. Oh no, a little bit further. Here we go.
So she's playing the piano this time.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest crowd I've seen in a concert so far.
Get some people up there dancing now.
You what, 16 or 17, Chris? Young girl. Young.
Yep.
But very talented.
Great voice. Nice turnout in Altspace.
How old is she, Deep?
17.
She's what's her plans for the future with her, gonna do a musical career, or is she doing something else?
Yeah, she's thinking of going to college out in Seattle. They've got a great music school out there. that's kind of her plans right now. She's still got a good year and a half to figure that out, but yeah, definitely music's going to be a part of her life.
That's awesome.
Her acting career has been awesome also. Not just singing, she's an awesome thespian.
Yeah.
Yeah, woo woo woo! She can't hear us, but yeah.
Fun times. So it's so funny because it takes like 3 seconds for the crowd to respond because they're unmuting their buttons.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there's things like that, like in the comedy shows. You know, you got the
Yeah.
challenge between open mics and not open mics. So still challenging these days, but man, it's so cool. I'm disappointed I didn't make the event. I don't think. Well, yeah, I could have made it on the computer, not in the gear, but oh well. I'm glad I got to listen to it, and we'll have Sophia out here in VRChat sometime, and we'll figure out a way. Like Eve is a musician, and Adam set her up with
you'll have the props,
Yeah.
man. You guys will have the props.
Yeah, she has a guitar in her hand, you know, so she can see it, and you know, push the limits of what we can do with props and Avatar for that. That'd be great.
That'd be cool.
Oh,
A full
yeah.
concert.
Violet has a
Several
really cool venue.
genres.
I think that would work out well for that. Okay, so let's talk. Is it Daz 3D, Morph 3D?
Oh, Daz 3D, more 3D. So again, you know, local community, right? Daz Morph 3D have their headquarters right there in Salt Lake City, which is like, who knew? It's funny too, because I remember like thinking like 9 months ago, maybe even a year ago, I wonder what Daz is gonna do in the VR space, right? So now they're ready to get really active. You know, they've already sponsored some meetups at their place, and you know, I don't know exactly what they're going to decide to do ultimately, but just keep this in mind, right? So they've got arguably some of the best avatars out there. I don't know if you guys have seen their website. They're ultra realistic, extremely high. Okay, all right, but and they've got an
XXX.
So
Is it
then they've got,
all?
No,
What's
it's
going
not
on?
all. No,
Oh, a lot of it.
There is a lot of very sexy characters, absolutely. But you got to look at the quality of these things. They've got, again, it's community, right? They've got an entire global community making these assets, man. And these guys are so
they
good
are
at what they
beautiful. I
do.
will attest to that.
Yeah, thank you, Lord. And that's coming from Lord's Pill.
I've been on there like literally like a long
Daily?
time, man. Yeah, I like looking at the stuff to bring into VRChat. So yeah, I have a pretty
I
good
didn't know
understanding
where
what's
Phil
up. Yeah.
So here's what's cool about them.
Huh?
So they've got all of these fantastic assets, very artistic, high quality, and what makes it cool is they've also got a morphing tool, right, where you can take any character and morph to your heart's content. You can age them, you can change them, you can put clothing on them, all very effortlessly. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see how that might be able to
Right.
port over into virtual reality and really allow people, you know, the idea, you got to keep it simple, right? To create a system that is absolutely simple, no more difficult than doing The Sims, right? When, you know, you see people spending hours just on their characters in The Sims tweaking things out. Imagine being able to do that effortlessly in VR at a very high quality. That's kind of what we're looking for, right? We want to
Sure
be
is.
able to do that, express ourselves. Like as Terrence McKenna says, right? It's like the octopus. You wear your inner on the outer, right? And you can do
Right.
that in VR.
Your intention, your emotions, yeah, what's inside your head, you're kind of wearing it out there. Yeah, I mean, we're sort of doing that with clothes, but imagine in VR when you can really express anything in any creative way.
Yeah, no, we're all going to
Let me
have
ask-
dozens of
Can I
avatars.
ask a question?
Of course.
Hmm.
Did you, were they open as to making avatars that we can use in VRChat?
Well, it makes sense to me. Jesse meet Daz, yeah. It's like, from a consumer myself, I'm like, that sounds like a match made in heaven, right?
You can already do that. The big limiting factor, though, in all this stuff is they can get really beautiful avatars, beautiful models, but it all comes down to the polygon count when it comes to, it's all about performance in the end. I mean, there's some really stunning-looking stuff on Daz, but pulling that off in a social VR app that's truly open, hello?
You're totally right, Pill, but this is the thing, right? It's about, imagine if there was a partnership, with any of these social VR spaces, it's developing the tools to overcome those obstacles, right?
Oh, yeah. No,
right now, there's no reason for them to have the low poly, right? What you can grab there now isn't going to be that. But if they're deciding to move into that VR space, they understand, especially social VR, which is where this really makes sense. It doesn't, a studio doing a game, they're just going to model their own thing or whatever. This, being able to change clothes and stuff, I mean, I think that sounds pretty...
Very powerful.
Yeah, extreme. We need stuff like that, so I can't wait to see it here. At some point, we're gonna see stuff like this.
Yeah, I'm sure paths will cross at some point, right? I mean, it's all gonna happen. It's all gonna happen.
We do have to make it happen, though.
Seriously, though, Daz is, I don't know. Go to the shop on the web panel. look at the models there. It's all sketch stuff, man. It's like, it's
I see what you mean.
Sketchy
if you
stuff.
if you deep dive into there's 300 pages, like
there's no deep diving, man. This is like straight off the bat. Right, you don't have to dive that deep to see it all right there.
No, I don't mean that. I mean to find you have to dive deeper. Like I see horses and dragons and bicycles and cannons and other stuff.
For the sexy girls to ride on, I guess. Yeah. That's what Daz is. I'm just stating what I'm seeing here, man.
That's rad right there.
But I see a snowman and a skeleton and a skirt and sweater that looks very conservative from the 60s, and fish and a Zippo and a bullwhip. I mean, I guess it's for sexy girls to use, but like, I understand that's like a market that makes sense for these kinds of companies. For what they're doing. In VR, it's going to change things. I'm sure they'd be happy.
VR is going to change things.
I hope so.
Or we're all just going to look like hot chicks.
The cool thing is we all get to choose our own.
Yeah, exactly. Not only choose your own, but create your own, too. Be able to morph it to your heart's content.
Right.
To kind of show who you are.
Yes.
Not what they give you.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that people aren't going to want to be the gorgeousness. Like we always, imagine imagine you could be the most cutest, hottest thing ever. But I think that the value of that's just going to depreciate. It's going to be the more unique, interesting.
Right. Unique would be the term, yes.
I mean, it's kind of already becoming that way in our culture, I feel, versus 15, 20, 30 years ago. The unique is celebrated a lot. Or maybe it comes back at certain times in decades or whatever. But with I don't know if it's hipsters or just the younger culture. I guess the millennials are a term that's thrown around now.
Millennials.
There's just they grow up with all this stuff, and they're definitely unique. I feel like I'm more unique than cultures behind me. Anyways, that's really cool. Hope to see more of that. I'll have to investigate the Daz 3D. Maybe get me a hot chick avatar or something.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the augmented reality is going to mesh quite well with that whole deal, too.
Well, how's that?
Dude, you're going to be able to bring all these characters right into your home,
Right on your coffee table.
Oh, my God. There goes VR, Bill. There he goes.
Exactly. Now he's okay.
I didn't say the coffee table line. I'm just laughing about it.
I mean, and the reality is, too, man, when we've got our augmented reality glasses, Gunter, you're going to be paying me a visit at home in my, have a seat at my couch, let me bring you a coffee. You're going to be in my space. I will be in your space. We need augmented avatars for that, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait to have 6 strippers just floating around in my RV here.
Wow.
Why stop at 6, Gunter?
Yeah. Well, there's only so much space. I guess I can miniaturize them, stick them all over the place.
Oh, hey, Wallace is back.
Wallace, come on down.
Wallace, come on down here, man. We were just talking about you.
All bad things, I assure you.
Camera, where's the camera above me?
Directly on him.
Directly on him, sweet. So, Say something funny, Mechlai.
Yeah.
I usually have something. I usually have something funny, but you're putting me on the spot.
Well, it's
Look
okay.
at that.
The mouth animations
All
aren't working for the camera.
Funny
I made this character for one purpose. Ewan came up with a brilliant script that implemented Oculus's new lip sync features and allowed it to work within VRChat. And all I could think was, I need to have Wallace from Wallace and Gromit. I need to make him. I need to have the animations. I need to at least... I just want to come into VRChat and say, I sure love me some Gorgonzola, but I don't have the accent.
Love it.
That
Thanks,
is
dude.
great.
That is great.
This is the immediate future of VRChat, and I can't wait to be playing with a lot more facial animations in the near future.
Absolutely.
Is there a room in VRChat with a mirror that you've been watching yourself speak? No, I've actually been opening up 2 clients.
There's
There you
a
go.
room though. We have 3 mirrors, I believe it's called.
You
It
can't
has,
see your head, unfortunately, in the mirrors.
Yeah, no.
currently.
Oh, no head. Yeah, shit.
Yeah,
Forgot
you
about that.
can't see your own head. That's the problem.
2 clients work. I think that's brilliant. It's not too hard to launch a second.
Hello.
VRChat. Mr. Ron Millar. How are you, Ron?
Good old Ron.
You might not be.
Cheese,
We
Gromit.
don't hear you. I know we had trouble hearing you last time. You might not be pressing the V key.
I sure do love me some Gorgonzola.
There you go.
Unfortunately, the mouth animations aren't working for the camera, so we'll have to get it another time.
Oh, that's interesting.
Ron's unusually quiet. Ron, it's either the left shoulder key on your X pad or the V key on your keyboard if you're trying to talk.
Just shout out whenever you get that working. Too bad camera, too bad stream and YouTubers couldn't see that, but basically Wallace's mouth was just spot on. Well, I would say spot on to the A, E, I, O, and U sounds, and it's just really great. So we're not sure why our cameras aren't picking that up.
Maybe because
awesome.
the camera isn't in VR.
Maybe I could try reloading VRChat.
No, I think it's because
No,
I'm
we're
in
not
desktop.
Shouldn't be
We're
you.
gonna
We'll
do
see you
another
moving.
topic or two. We'll figure out all the fancy stuff later.
It's an Oculus thing, right? So I don't see. I can see why it wouldn't
oh,
work
right, you're in 2D mode.
in desktop
Right.
mode, right? Yeah.
Huh. Great to discover that now, actually. Huh.
Hmm.
So yeah, if you're in 2D mode, you might not be seeing that. Huh. Didn't need to be that way, but whatever. We've already kind of touched on enterprise sector. That's been increasing interest. I think we're good there. Light fields. I know you've experienced some light field technology, but I don't think you can talk about it. But when do you think it's coming? When can we have our first light field experience? Do you have any idea?
I want to say this year. Yeah.
Definitely this year.
Well, and it depends on what you mean by light field experience, right? There's going to be different levels of light field experience.
Well, you tell me if whatever you can tell me as far as what you've tried and these different levels. And I know that it's still very mysterious, but that's sort of like a holy grail to reach there. And I'm just really interested in.
So the best experience I've seen so far was from Otoy. It was out at the Oculus Connect. I think, Pill, you tried it too, right?
Oh, hell yeah. No,
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to try to explain this the best I can. So for those that don't understand light field tech, basically the best way to conceptualize it, I think, is to imagine taking a volume of space. Like, you've got this cube you can put out in anywhere in a spatial room, and it's now... and that space is measuring all of the photons that are coming into that space from every single possible... Oh, hi, Ron. You're working now.
Hello, Ron.
We did hear you. There you go. You're golden now.
That's okay.
So in this volume, you've got all the photons of light from every possible angle coming in, and that's being measured. And then you bring that into virtual reality. You can put your head in that volume of space And it's really no different from being in real life. It's the same basic principle. You're seeing the light coming from every possible direction, and you can move your head around that volume of space. And the experience that Pill and I tried, they were using the Vive, and you had the Vive controller, and on the end of that Vive, it was almost like having a lollipop. There was this little tiny sphere of this alternate reality where they took the shot from. In this case, it was like a museum for me. And I could put my eyeball up into this orb, and as soon as I put my eyeball inside of that little orb, bam! It's like I'm teleported there. And then you can, using the controller, you can increase the size of this orb and basically make it life size. So then you can step your entire body into that orb, and again, see that light filled from all possible angles. It's like being inside of a hologram, but it doesn't look like a hologram. It looks like real solid. You're there, man. It's the closest to the Matrix I've seen yet in VR. Would you agree, Pill? Did I describe that good?
Definitely, it is the coolest thing I've ever seen in VR. And I'm usually a person that's impressed more by videos and interactive stuff, but it was just literally like a picture photosphere that you had in your hand that was completely 3D inside. It was real life. It was like you were holding the earth in your hand, and you just push it up to your face, and you're in the world. It was insane.
And when you're talking light fields, with a typical stereoscopic experience, if you tilt your head to the side, you lose the stereoscopy, right?
Yep.
With light field, you can upside down, whatever, man. It's all working, just like real life. The 3D never goes away.
Imagine if I had a light field of my room right now, right? I was like, shit, just took a light field, guys. Here, check it out. And I just had a Vive controller. Boom, an orb in my hand, I just tossed it at you, you grabbed it, and you're like, whoochoom, I'm in your room now. Yeah, it's
Awesome.
pretty crazy.
And so this is photo that you're talking about, but video is coming.
Video is coming too.
That's still under wraps, right?
It. Yeah, I haven't seen or experienced.
You didn't see that? Yeah,
yeah, right, yes.
You guys can't talk about it, and I don't think you I think you should, because nobody really watches this shit, so just do it anyway. But no, I don't think you should.
Cool stuff is coming. Yeah. Video is coming with light field, which is amazing, so it's no longer a static photo. I mean, wow, that's some hardcore. That's going to change a lot of things. All this effort we're putting into stitching and all of these techniques, that's going to be old school, man. We're going to move past that. You don't need
360
stitching with light field.
They're done.
Right. Super cool. I hope we see something, at least like a taste, when CV1 hits in the first couple months, at least like that. That beginning, oh, it's possible. Now we just want something big.
All you need to know about the video stuff is what have I usually done most of this year is I've seen most every 360 video out there, right? I've had the directory and all that shit. I think 360 videos are done. Lightfield's going to come in and just blow it away. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's it.
Big difference.
I haven't tried it. I'm waiting. Give it to me. Shove it in my. Give me that little sphere. Toss me the sphere, Bill. I need to see your room.
I heard Felix and Paul dropping the term light field quite a bit in my interview with them. So it's like put that in their hands, baby. Felix and Paul, they're arguably the best 3D stereoscopic video guys on the planet. At least that's what I think. Their stuff is so top-notch. Cirque du Soleil, those Cirque du Soleil ones are so good. And then their new stuff with the Maasai people, the greatest sense of presence I've ever had in a real-life 360 video, man. It's and I was standing in the middle of the Samsung building with all kinds of people around. I was around the campfire with those people dancing. It was something about the light and the embers flying past you and the quality of the experience. It was wow, I truly was transported. Great sense of presence.
Awesome. Okay, so one last little segment here, and we'll go pretty fast because we are running long. And that's what things that you've been trying. I pulled up some videos on these things we talked about a little bit before. I believe you were talking about Euro Truck Simulator. Kind of diving back into that.
Dude, I got a hankering, you know. Everyone's been talking about American Truck Simulator, right? And I don't have that yet, but I tried Euro Truck a while back and lost interest, and I just dove back in again. It's so awesome. I spent like many hours, there it is, many hours driving that freaking big rig throughout Europe. And it's so immersive. There's just something about being in that cab, and the fact that you can tune into any of those real-world channels in Europe and listen to the actual broadcast while you're driving down this virtual road. It's so fun.
Yeah, I haven't played in a while. I dug it. This is the American one trailer I thought I did.
Right on.
And that's pretty interesting.
I would have never been interested in that on a 2D monitor, man. Never. But VR, whole different beast.
So what I did is I streamed American VR Simulator a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have heard of American VR Simulator. Or not VR, RV Simulator. I live in an RV. I didn't publicize it because I figured it was pretty much my bandwidth was going to give out and had no idea how it would hear and I couldn't monitor it. But I streamed my 3-hour RV journey, a dash cam. So it pretty much looks like American Truck Simulator. You hear the same roaring of an engine and the long road. So that's pretty fun too. Okay, what else we got?
Windlands, man. God, that game is so awesome.
Yeah. Windlands.
Windlands, dude. Yeah, see, we got some Windland fans here, man. God, talk about a sense of immersion and that sensation of freedom when you master those controls.
Oh man, I've been playing a shit ton of Windlands.
Hell yeah.
I'm competing on the leaderboards.
You're a master, dude.
Sort of. I mean, I see this guy's more of a master. Now I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
this
I
guy's
see you can do that.
ridiculous.
Like, I could do now what I'm seeing here.
Oh my gosh, no way he's making that. He's done. He's done.
Yeah, but now he makes the whole thing in a minute 40 or something. So there's two challenge modes that they added. This one is the wall kind of challenge, there's no swinging, and then the next one's the jungle swing challenge, which is a lot easier, but you know, trying to get the super low time is just as challenging.
Ooh, that part.
Love it, man. Love.
Gunter, did you
like
get
a superhero?
Maybe you're too hardcore. I don't know, but I had sweaty palms on some of those highest spots, man, where I felt like if I landed wrong, I was going off the edge.
You're not alone, man. You're not alone.
Definitely not alone. Butt clenched, shaky when I get to the very top, and I got the couple more to do, and I'm like, I'm trying to do a time. When you start doing that time stuff, it gets like really hairy.
Yeah. Yeah, your whole body almost convulses if you just don't quite make it.
Yeah. You need like a muscle relaxer after playing this game.
So who's doing this right now? Because this guy's good.
Yeah, he is good.
Let me find out.
Jeez, I can't even make it past like the first like 10 seconds.
Satu Chi.
But I cannot do this shit. Holy cow.
And the one thing there's screeners, so I'm curious who's a screener in this scenario. So there's that. Then there's people that are in VR, and there's two types in my opinion. There's the ones that stand up and play, and then there's the ones that
That's
sit
me.
down.
I'm a stander.
Me too.
Most people are, and I think that that's a lot of fun. But I'm just back to keyboard and mouse because I want to get the best time, and for me,
Sure.
I'm like almost falling over sometimes. So and in the RV, things are too close to me and shit, so it doesn't.
Never tried standing up.
It's awesome. I'm waiting for the Oculus controllers for it to really stand up. What was that?
Totally.
This is the only game I've ever played where I almost hit the ground. The only one ever. Windland.
Yeah, no, it can do that. Yeah, it's great, and yeah, I should put out some videos of mine because I'm right there at minute 40 or 2 minutes on the other challenge, and I can do the whole like first world like without ever having to touch the ground. Once I started clicking, it was wonderful. It's really not that hard. You just gotta figure out some things and watch some practice.
You gotta swing it right, baby.
Love the swing and shared that with some people. They're just
Swing it.
minds are blown. You know, it's such a great VR experience. John Hibbins is the owner of SciTech Games. He was on the show 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's a big VRChat fan. Him and Cube Paradox are working together now. I love the connections. I love seeing these kind of things spawn out of VRChat, or especially when they're at this show here. It really, just tugs at my heart. Next thing we have is an older title called Plane 9 that you turned me on.
Plane 9, dude! Plane 9 is so good, isn't it?
I need to pick it up again because I forgot about it.
I'm
awesome.
such a sucker for music visualizers, man, and this is one of the better ones. This uses UE4. Man, this is so good. Again, I like to stand and take advantage of as much of that camera space as I can.
Yeah, me too. Or sit in Indian
This is
style,
fantastic for
it is.
parties. Just leave this on at a party, man. Have people going back there putting on the Rift. So good.
So I've loved visualizers for a long time.
Yeah,
They're
me
just
too.
getting better. This stuff is awesome.
You need to check out Cube's visualizer in the other room.
Oh, dude, just remind us, we have 2 visualizers in VRChat that the whole room's going to the music, and you're in it.
Is that the one? That's not the one that looks like space, is it?
That's Ewan's.
I saw
Ewan's.
Ewan's. Cool. Love to check that out after the show, man. This is cool. Oh, another one I should mention for sure on the Gear VR is Groover. GROOVR.
Nice, yeah.
Oh,
Groover.
dude, they've got the best environments, Gunter, and you can play your own music from your phone, right? And dude, it's got some awesome scenes in there, and they're going to be coming out with more as well. They've got like 3 or 4 different worlds right now, and with multiple things happening, but definitely worth checking out. Again, I don't know if it's on the Note 4 or not. I hope it is. I hope it is.
Looking for video, didn't find one, but yeah, Groover, that sounds great.
GROOVR. Yeah, there should be some video of that,
God,
dude.
being
It
able
is.
to sit in bed and do that. Oh, that
You've
sounds
got
great.
these giant Buddhas, and you're cruising over this lake, and this whale with tribal tattoos comes flying past your head, and dude, it's amazing. It's really good.
I don't want to go on too many tangents, but that just reminded me of that Club Buddha, which was a visualizer in like a club.
That was so awesome, dude.
Kind of thing,
And we could use our hydras in that and fly around and leave tracers with our hands.
God, I forget all this cool shit we were doing, DK1. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, it really was.
Okay, well, we got a couple more things
The
here.
cool thing about Plane 9, though, is the amount of variation, because you want that variation. That's what scores an A for music visualizers, man. You can't have the repetition.
Can you play your own music
Lots
with
of
Plane
settings.
9?
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome.
In fact, it doesn't even come with any music. You are reliant on your own music.
Anything I think that's playing, like YouTube, doesn't matter. I believe that's how it works.
Sick.
Yeah, it's really
Never
it's
seen me
working
again.
really well. Really well. Oh, and it makes me think of like it was 1999, and Napster hit, and Winamp, and Geist is an awesome visualizer, and I just got my face as close to that monitor as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Be in that, and that here we are now. We can do it.
Yeah.
So this, I never saw
Never
this yet.
Out,
Never
dude,
Out.
this is great. I'm like on level 22 right now, dude. Great sense of presence in the gear, believe it or not. They have this really cool feature where if you gaze down, if you look down, it actually shifts and gives you a little bit of movement. For some reason, the way they do that really kicks up the immersion level. And these first few rooms are nice. They've got the dust particles floating around that enhance that 3D. But as you get deeper, as you escape these rooms by tilting the rooms the way you need them to go for gravity to start taking effect and whatnot, later rooms have portals, they have electricity, they have all kinds of crazy things that are just so polished. There we go. There's a portal right there. These rooms really do a good job for pushing immersion on the gear. We're definitely worth a check out.
Another one that I hope's on the Note 4, but someday I'll have a Note or an S. Well, what's
There's
coming
supposed
out
to be
next?
more on the screen?
The F8. Possibly. It's easy. Some of you may not see what's on the screen because things screw up, so I do apologize. But we're pretty much done with some things. A couple more. But this looks great. I can't wait to check that out if I'm able to.
So Deep, how many hours have you spent in that space?
And like, I should really go and chat something before I die. I've got 29 levels.
Not sure what you said there, but I'm gonna just last thing was Minecraft. Minecraft's back. You were talking about picking that up.
Oh, Minecraft, yeah. So now they've updated this for the new runtime, right? So this is making a resurgent. And I haven't tried the new version yet. Bill just told me it's running really great. But I got to say that Minecraft back in the DK1 and early DK2 days was phenomenal. I spent so many hours in there. That was the first time I've ever even played Minecraft was in VR, which made it particularly awesome. You know, I was asking my daughters how the hell I combine things and all of that. But man, the sense of space, the hours you can lose in this environment, it was in Minecraft that I had one of my stranger VR experiences where I'd been in there for like 6 hours. It was extremely late at night, and I thought, I got to go to bed. I'm done. And I went to look for a space in the VR world to go to bed in. And then it hit me, holy crap, what are you doing, Chris? You're in virtual reality. Get out of VR and go to real bed. You know, it just blew my mind. It's so weird doing that, man.
That's incredible. Yeah, so the VRChat, Q Paradox specifically of the VRChat community spun up a Minecraft server. There's probably 5 to 10 people joining up on that and playing, so feel free to join that. Just come talk to us and we'll get you set up. And then the Metacraft server is the one that launched in the very beginning of the DK1 days. It's where I spent a lot of time, 6 months. It's what I consider my birth of social VR for me because it had positional audio when you added the Mumble program. And so if you went too far away from each other, couldn't hear each other, fall off that cliff, you're going to have to get back together so that you can, help each other and keep doing what you're doing. And this is a video from back 2 years ago or so when we were playing Minecraft of some town we called Mumbleton that we built together. A bunch of us built together, and it was really great fun. Cymatic Bruce was out all the time. Not all the time, but often, and that's how we kind of all got together because of the connection through Bruce.
Having problems. I've been in and out a bunch of times and not being able to see the video.
Oh, no.
Sorry about that.
Still on Daz 3D.
That's okay.
And you're still on Daz. You know what it is? 3D. I'll tell you what it is. I have this ability to switch the screen from like a zoomed in, just a video portion of YouTube basically to this full screen web pages, and I think that when I switch, they break for people. So this is the last. There's one more video after this that I'm gonna show as an announcement for somebody else at the end of the show. But yeah, I just wanted to give people a taste of like, what it was like back in the day here. That's how kind of meetups started for me. I hosted a few meetups in Minecraft. It's what the urge of social VR was there with me, and I wanted to do the meetups. I really enjoyed hanging with people, talking with people. I wasn't the guy that master builder. I would kind of help all the newbies that would come around. And even the idea of doing a talk show started. So this is us building a like news center. Those are the windows. This will be where people will have like the news conference area, and there'll be a camera behind there filming, and there's a radio tower on top to kind of give it the role-playing aspect of that this is a real place that will broadcast to that town down there. And, there's a lot of fun stuff in DK1, and really enjoyed it. So I'm super stoked to hear that the Metacraft server is also back up, so you have the VRChat server. And the Metacraft, I don't know what the attendance is like yet. Haven't been on, which is shame on me because a bunch of my old friends are going to be there. And definitely going to be checking that out. Those are two cool places. There's so much to do in Minecraft.
What is the benefit of the VRChat server?
Well, I could tell people, but I'm going to let you tell them, Bill.
All right, I'll let it go flow. So anyway, with the VRChat server, I didn't mean I'll let it flow like that, but with the VRChat server, anything you build in there, we will update. I think like once every week or once every other week, we'll update to a VRChat room, so you'll be able to hang out in VRChat in the Minecraft stuff that you've built in the Minecraft VRChat server. Yeah, so with web panels and all other crazy shit. Yeah,
that's very cool.
So after show or meetup, we can just slide on over to a VRChat world and see what everybody's been building without somebody needing to download Minecraft, and it can be tricky sometimes to set up.
Also,
cool.
Our version of Minecraft is fat-free.
Nice. It's always a bonus.
I like that. Nice.
There's that joke that I've been wanting. There it is. So the last thing, this is a cell phone or a radio tower, and so now there's lights blinking that the show is on, and it just really was some serendipity that the person that did this in Minecraft that built this for us used to build towers for real life as a job, part of the crew. So when it was just kind of like, this is what we're doing, and it was like, well, I've done this in real life, I'll do it, and so pretty cool, good old days.
Really cool village. Shit.
Yeah, it's too many memories. I have a bed there. I feel like I slept in.
Yeah.
All right, so this is awesome. Deeprifter, thank you so much. How about you plug some things? What do you want people to be checking out?
Oh, plug some things. The VR virtual event calendar, tracking real life and virtual events on the RoadtoVR site. Check out the events. You can take a view of that in all kinds of different formats, monthly views, photo views, list views, whatever. I do confess I do have a little bit of catching up to do. It's been crazy for me, but usually I've got that pretty up to date. So check it out, see what events are happening. UtahVR, man. I'm so stoked. Anybody from Utah, man, that's watching
UtahVR!
this, come and jump into UtahVR. We're doing some very cool things. We're getting ready to head up to the University of Utah and do a big presentation there on the 23rd. All the students are invited to that. The news media is going to be there. We're ready to make an impact. Daz 3D, they're doing awesome job sponsoring us, and I'm really excited to see what they do in the virtual reality space. Freedom VR, group of hackers and enthusiasts that are just building stuff, building 3D tracking helmets and anything they can get their hands on, playing with Mayo bands, making positional tracking with Google Cardboard. I mean, they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. We're also going to have a virtual center in Salt Lake, a place where we can show off VR, a high-end place where we can bring clients and show them the best of what VR offers and have local showcases and whatnot. We just got the funding for that. We're going to be looking at a space for that. Stoked about that. So.
Yeah, there's so many great things. It's great. All right, so a couple things here. Normally I'd go into audience questions, but there just isn't the time. But right after this, we're going to just all hang and talk about questions and all that. So it's one of the benefits of being in the audience here in VRChat is to hang out, party, we go to other rooms, anything, It's really cool. So Comedy Club, the second LMVAO is Thursday. Sunday is our meetup. And then some good friends of mine, the NOLA Hope guys, they have a Kickstarter, so NOLA Hope's a great game. I got to play that, and that was a lot of fun. They made a special version for me that instead of like drinking potions to heal, it required me to do a drinking game, so I would drink some whiskey or drink some Guinness or drink some regular water depending on the encounters that I found. So really cool guys that I met out in OC2. Just want to play their Kickstarter video a little bit. They could use some love, so if you're digging this kind of thing, definitely back them. I think the reward to get the game is $16, so it's definitely affordable.
Smart about.
And it's a sweet video.
Whoa, it's like we're in the game.
We are in the game. Within the game.
The game you've been waiting for. I'm Wade Arcade.
And I'm Game Over Grant.
And this is Null of Hope. Null of Hope is our tribute to all the great pixelated adventures that we grew up with.
A retro-era RPG with bits of nostalgia.
Some of you might not be seeing this, so sorry about that.
You will guide Null and his party on an
I am not.
with all the blips and pixels.
Bear with us.
From the
No problem. No problem.
It's like a warm blast from your past.
And with the technology
And the crowd goes mild.
we can bring your past into the present.
So I'm trying to get Greenland on Steam.
Oh, hold on, buddy. We'll
talk about that later.
Immersing you in the game in a way previously only possible by the power of your imagination.
Making you question where your reality ends and the game begins.
Not only does Null of Hope combine all of your favorite game elements from yesteryear, it's a mashup of all the great experiences that virtual reality can offer. a perfect harmony of old and new.
Ugh, you're making me want to play it already.
Grant, you know damn well there's a playable demo on the website.
Oh, well that explains all this footage.
This is called Null of Hope, and I haven't played it before, but it looks freaking cool.
Game Hard, we know him.
Yeah.
Almost.
That is blowing on the cartridge.
I know it's fake, but I cannot stand rats.
Punch right in the face.
Oh man, I'm stinking up my room.
No! No! No!
Dude, it's slowly turning into a sewer in here. I love that.
Mama's gonna be angry. I'm sorry.
Mama's gonna be angry.
Game Hard, so funny.
How much does that up? 50. Oh! Okay,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a clever little game where your environment turns into what as you progress through the game.
That's awesome.
All these little tricks and sneaks up at you. And
That's
it's cool
a bit
little
like
adventure
Pixel
game.
Rift.
Oh no, man.
It's a lot like that, absolutely.
Brilliant. That was really, really good.
It was good for me, and that was just the beginning of the full game that you're gonna help us fund.
Alright, so yeah, those guys
Wow.
are great. They've been here in VRChat hanging out and just really cool guys. So, Null of Hope on Kickstarter. Go back that. Help our VR friends out. And that's pretty much it. Thanks to the Gunters Universe team, to Deeprifter for coming out and being a great guest. For all my Patreons that are backing me and sending some funds my way to help me grow into this full-time VR thing that I'm trying to grow into. And just if you want to stay in contact, go to guntersuniverse.com. Best thing to do is get on the newsletter. They come out every time there's a show. Tells you what's going on, who's there. It's a great way if you end up forgetting about when it is or don't see the Reddit post. That's really your best way. And just thanks everybody for watching, for being here. This has been great. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next Tuesday back here in Gunters Universe. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Right on.
Love it.
Great episode.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Kimmy! Sebastian!
Hello.
Party time.
Great talk. Sticking it out, guys. That was a long one. Hey, Lord.
Super interesting.
Great show, bud.
So I got to learn how to
good as
dance
always,
like
my
that,
man.
Gunter.
It takes some practice.